When my husband stood up at our daughter's graduation and calmly announced that he'd decided to start a new life without me, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath my feet. One second I was proud, watching our daughter accept her diploma, and the next, I was being publicly discarded like an old coat. His voice was steady, almost rehearsed, and beside him sat a woman I'd never seen before. She looked uncomfortable, her eyes fixed on the floor as if she wanted to vanish. The crowd fell silent, a mix of confusion and disbelief rippling through the rows of chairs. My daughter froze on stage, holding her diploma, her smile fading as she realized what had just happened. I didn't cry, I didn't yell, I just smiled, a quiet, deliberate smile that told him I wasn't broken, not yet. I stood up, took a deep breath, and said, "Congratulations on your honesty." My voice didn't shake, even though my heart was pounding so hard it hurt. The audacity of him, choosing this moment, our daughter's day, to stage his grand announcement, was something only a man completely blind to decency could do. I walked up to him, handed him an envelope I had prepared days earlier, and whispered, "You'll need this." Then I turned and walked away, leaving him standing there, clutching that envelope like it was his ticket to freedom. He didn't know it was actually the key to his downfall. When I got home that night, the house felt both familiar and foreign. Every photo, every piece of furniture carried traces of a life I no longer recognized. But I had been preparing for this. Months ago, I had started noticing his late nights, secret phone calls, and distant behavior. I wasn't naive, I hired a private investigator. What I discovered wasn't just an affair, it was betrayal on every level. He had been planning to leave me once he got full control of our joint savings and transferred the business assets under his name. He thought I didn't know about the documents he forged, the hidden accounts, the lies layered like bricks in a wall meant to trap me on the other side. But while he was planning his escape, I was planning my freedom. The envelope I gave him wasn't just a farewell note, it was a declaration of war written in perfect legal language. Inside were copies of every document proving his financial fraud, signed witness statements, and a letter from my lawyer confirming that divorce papers had already been filed. By the time he opened that envelope, I was no longer his wife in any legal sense. The house, the car, the savings, everything had already been secured in my name because he had unknowingly signed over his rights when he updated our joint ownership papers weeks before. I had staged it as a refinancing process, something he was too distracted to question. As he tore open the envelope in front of our shocked family and friends, his expression changed from arrogance to horror. He started screaming, not at me, but at the reality he had just uncovered. His so-called new life had no foundation. Everything he had tried to take was already gone. He had humiliated me publicly, and in return, I had dismantled his entire illusion of control. The guests at the graduation watched in silence as he stood there, red-faced, trembling with anger, holding the evidence of his own destruction. The next few weeks were chaos for him. His girlfriend, realizing he had nothing left, quietly disappeared from his life. His business partners pulled out when they learned about his legal trouble. My lawyer ensured every one of his fraudulent moves came back to haunt him. Meanwhile, I focused on my daughter. She was devastated at first, confused about why her father had chosen such cruelty. But as she learned the truth, she told me something I'll never forget. "Mom, you handled it like a queen," and that's exactly how I wanted her to see it, not as a tragedy but as a transformation. People often assume revenge is about destruction, but it's not. It's about reclaiming power. It's about looking the person who tried to break you in the eye and saying, "You don't get to decide my ending." I didn't scream, I didn't beg, I didn't let him see me fall apart. I planned, I acted, and I rose. Every detail of my revenge wasn't fueled by hate, it was powered by calm, deliberate justice. He had underestimated me, thinking I was too dependent, too sentimental to fight back. But he forgot who I really was, the woman who built a home, raised a child, and kept everything running while he was busy living a double life. The day the court finalized our divorce, I walked out of the courthouse wearing the same calm smile I gave him that day at graduation. He avoided eye contact, a shadow of the man he once pretended to be. He had to sell his car to pay legal fees, lost his business license, and was left with nothing but regret. I, on the other hand, rebuilt everything, stronger, cleaner, and on my own terms. My daughter and I moved to a smaller but happier home. The silence there wasn't heavy anymore, it was peaceful. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the moment he opened that envelope. The way his hands shook, the disbelief in his eyes, the realization that the woman he thought was weak had outsmarted him at every step. That image brings me no guilt, only closure. Because when someone tries to destroy you publicly, the best revenge isn't shouting back, it's showing them you were 3 moves ahead the whole time. So here's what I've learned: betrayal can either break you or rebuild you. It all depends on whether you let pain turn into bitterness or strategy. I chose strategy, and I won't pretend it didn't hurt, it did, deeply. But that hurt became the fuel for my strength, the quiet fire that reminded me that I deserved better. If you've ever been blindsided by someone you trusted, remember this: they may think they've written your ending, but you still hold the pen. Take your time, plan your piece, and when the moment comes, let karma do the rest. Because sometimes justice doesn't need a courtroom, it just needs an envelope. If that ending made you smile, don't forget to hit that like button and share this story with someone who needs a reminder that strength doesn't always roar, it sometimes whispers, "I'm done." Subscribe for more stories where karma finds the perfect timing, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed?